So I've got a couple of ECMs on the bench today. The one on the left here is a UK manual ECM, which has kind of been lent to me by a member here. So I can add the OBD2 CNC slave board into it, or the one from my car. Actually, I'll probably use and keep this one as spare, so I can test the slave board functionality when it's installed inside the ECM. That will be connected by CAN lines to the OBD2 CNC master. And this one is an Australian ECM, and they're identical printed circuit boards. I've checked the serial numbers and revisions. The programming may be very slightly different, but physically they're identical. Same components, same printed circuit board revision. This one has got a part number of that number there, 37820 PHM Q01, and the UK one is almost similar, part number of G02, so maybe Great Britain 02, I don't know, Q01, not sure. So, but they're probably very, very similar. They probably would be interchangeable, I would think, because I believe the Australian cars are pretty similar to the UK market cars. So that's that. The other interesting thing on these is one of the members is having problems with the barometric pressure sensor, and I think it is this device here. Now looks like it's got lots of pins on the top. It's actually 3 pins, and there's a little tiny hole in it here, which you may be able to see, and that I think is where obviously the air pressure is admitted, or the air is admitted, and that's where the sensing probably goes on. So I think that is the barometric pressure sensor. I've not been able to find a picture of it anywhere on the internet, looking at images for ECM barometric pressure sensors, etc. Underneath it, it just solders on with 3 pins, and they are, find them myself, can't see them on here, bear with me, it's quite difficult to do this actually. Oh, here they are. Yeah, so they're the 3 pins. So it would be possible to unsolder that, but you'd have to have a proper hot air soldering, desoldering gun to do that. But you could probably get that out and put in another one from another ECM if you can find one. And but as we can't find the part online, I think it'd be virtually impossible to get a part on its own, so you'd probably have to take it out of another ECM. But it's only 3 pins, and the big meaty pin, so you probably could unsolder that with care and possibly solder another one in. But I suppose there are some other options. It's a 3-pin device, so it's probably going to be power, ground, and this is probably the ground pin here. This one connected to this ground plane here. One of the others will be the power, probably the one on the other side. The middle one's probably the signal. It's probably a fairly simple device. You might be able to use an external 3-pin barometric sensor in its place. Obviously the range may not be the same, but you know, you could certainly attempt that. So you could possibly disconnect this, solder some wires to the board here, and use an external barometric pressure sensor. I would think the middle one is probably the signal there. So there are a couple of possibilities, but probably easiest if you just get a new ECM. Must be loads of these around. So there we are. Hopefully that will prove useful.